Yeah, and we call it, Caroline, we call it God mode. And God, because we love acronyms just to make things easier to remember, stands for get one done. And what most people don't realize is they think they have to be perfect before they start anything, which then creates all that overwhelm. I can't do it. I didn't get this right. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. But if they go in and say, okay, I'm going to get one done, because I think you'd agree that some of the greatest lessons you get is by actually doing something.
Welcome to Inspired Choice today. I'm your host, Caroline Biesalski, here to bring you authentic stories, surprising lessons, and powerful takeaways to fuel your journey in business and life. In each episode, I'll take you from one inspiring guest to the next, blending their experiences with my expertise to uncover practical strategies you can use right away. Whether you're starting out or stepping up, stay tuned for insights and actionable tips that make a difference. And stick around until the end for a special freebie just for our listeners. Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest, and I have to smile because there are two, are Aaron Huey and Robert Riopel, and I hope I pronounced your names right. I'm so overwhelmed now by your presence. How are you doing today?
Wonderful.
Doing great. And I'm curious, Caroline, why are you overwhelmed by our presence? We're just two guys.
No, it's two guys, two nice guys, or really yes. But my story is I was not speaking like 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and I always have a good excuse about English is not my mother language and so on. But I took this calling, because it came by intuition to start my own podcast, because I always wanted to do this for 17 years or so. And here I am. And of course, it is overwhelming because the last 600 episodes, I trained with one guest at the time. And now I have to. So it is like next level, right? Next level. Mhm.
I think
Can
what's
you?
overwhelming is the fact that a year ago you weren't speaking and now you've done over 600 episodes. That's phenomenal. And that's the type of business sense and business success that, I mean, this is what it requires. You get over it. Robert and I had an opportunity to interview a really great man that we both admire called T. Harv Eker. And we asked him, what about that person who has this great business idea or marketing idea, but they just are afraid of selling or success? And T. Harv Eker was like, "You freaking do. You just do it," and that's where a lot of success comes. So good on you for a year ago not doing anything, and now 600 episodes in, you're that's incredible. That's
Well, it
phenomenal.
tells me right away, Aaron, why her podcast is called Inspired, because that is inspiring. So
No
congratulations
doubt.
on that, Caroline.
Thank you so much. And I'm a huge fan of T. Harv Eker. Eker, I don't know how you pronounce this. I read his book 20 years ago. So I love that you shared this. I never mentioned him or his books in this podcast, so it is new as well. And of course, I want to introduce you to the audience because this we cannot skip. So you are transformational leaders dedicated to empowering individuals and inspiring change. Aaron is a dynamic speaker and personal growth advocate known for his storytelling that ignites passion. Robert, author of Success Left a Clue, is a trainer and speaker who has shared stages with top influencers, helping people break through limitations and achieve their dreams. Together, they deliver authentic insights that inspire action. And we already talked about this, what T. Harv Eker shared with you, to just do it, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
And,
first question to you, you want to add something?
well, I was just going to say, just a curiosity note. When we released Harv's book in 2005, so 20 years ago, my wife and I are actually acknowledged in the acknowledgments by him because I was his very first protege, and I've gone on to train hundreds and actually thousands of trainers now. And absolutely, that's why Aaron and I love his work, is because we still teach a lot of his work all over the world. So That's
Robert
why.
Robert
Yeah.
was actually the trainer at my first T. Harv Eker camp. I was in the audience, and he was a trainer at a T. Harv Eker camp, and I started working that camp the following year. That's how Robert and I met. We've both been working with T. Harv Eker for 20 years.
What a story. And you won't believe what happened to me. I signed in for a live seminar, or however you want to call it, in Munich in 8 days. It's not with T. Harv Eker, but with the consultant, or I don't know how it is called. Yes. So this is my sign to just do it. Thank you so much. And my first question is, what's one mindset shift that can instantly help someone break free from their limitations and start living their dreams?
Wow. I think that Robert and I, we love this question. We love getting started so deeply because this, Robert and I agree that people think that it's the skill set that will cause their success. They want to achieve their dreams, they have to go learn a bunch of stuff. They want to start a business, they have to go learn a bunch of stuff. They want to fix their relationship, become a better parent, they have to learn stuff. And I don't care how big your toolbox is or how many tools you have, the brightest, shiniest, brand new tools, it doesn't matter. I don't care about your tools, I care about your heart. If you know why you want what you want, and you want it so deeply that nothing is going to stop you. If you want what you want because of your children, because of your spouse, because of your parents, if you want what you want because it gets you up in the morning and keeps you up at night, then you just need to begin achieving. You stop thinking that you need one more thing that you need to do, and you just start doing. Robert, you talk about the name that we created for this, because there's a lot of people are catching on, and this is what we've created. You just start.
Yeah, and we call it, Caroline, we call it God mode. And God, because we love acronyms, just to make things easier to remember, stands for get one done. And what most people don't realize is they think they have to be perfect before they start anything, which then creates all that overwhelm. I can't do it. I didn't get this right. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. But if they go in and say, okay, I'm going to get one done, because I think you'd agree that some of the greatest lessons you get is by actually doing something. You're going to learn what worked. More importantly, you're going to learn what didn't work. And from there, you can then decide, what am I going to do different? And so when you go into God mode, get one done, and all of a sudden that will get you further. And it's I love the quote from T. Harv Eker. He says, one step in the right direction is worth 1,000 years of thinking about it. And so getting out of that overwhelm just means take one more step. But Robert, Aaron, Caroline, it's scary. Yes, take one more step. I have self-doubt. That's okay. Take one more step. And the only other thing I'd add to that is Aaron and I are huge believers. Quit trying to do success on your own.
Yeah.
There's a reason the two of us are business partners now, is because on our own, we've created a lot of great things. We've created millions of dollars in our lives. We have amazing lives. But what we've been combining together to create takes everything else and makes it look like that was a good start. Now what we're doing, just it's so much more fun because we don't have the burden on ourselves to have to do it individually. There's things that Aaron is phenomenal at. I'm not. And I don't get stressed out about that because he goes, I got your back, brother, and vice versa. There's things that I'm strong on that maybe he's not. So I've got his back on that. So one step in the right direction, get one done, and quit doing success on your own.
I love it. I love the God mode. It's also about creativity or creating.
Yes.
I would add this word, I love words, as it's not my language, so I can dissect words. I love that so much. And I feel safe now here. It's easy. We can talk. It's okay. I learned so much already. I'm inspired. And my next question, I have another question. How do storytelling and authenticity enhance personal transformation in today's world?
You know, every aspect of you is your authentic self. I want to be really clear. This is what Robert and I have looked at the seminar industry, the personal growth and business development industry, and believe that they've gotten this one wrong. When they say, oh, you're not being authentic. Oh, you need to be your true self. Oh, that's just your ego. You know what? You are always 100% of the time being authentic. Always. You're afraid to do something, but inside you really know that you could accomplish it. You're not being inauthentic. That's authentically your fear. If you stand up and everybody asks you a question and you lie about the answer, you are authentically a liar. Authenticity is how you are. Now, storytelling and using story to embrace who you are and tell people how it is with you, how it really is, what you're feeling. The transparency is the greatest gift of love. When Robert and I are up on stage, when we're in a Zoom room, when we are talking to people and we are teaching the lessons through stories about our life, about T. Harv Eker, about people we know, about people we've worked with. Here's a great story. One of our students recently followed our process and has outshined us on registrations. We had 130 people registered for our first event. They had 600 people. Do you know how excited that makes Robert and I? And the story that I just told you can get you excited because in this world, facts tell, stories sell. I have always believed for anyone who's in sales, and Robert will give a list of anybody who is actually in sales in just a minute, because this is very clear to understand whether or not you're in sales. But if you are in sales, make them listen, make them cry, make them laugh, make them buy. You can tell everybody what a product can do for them, but until they understand the emotion, the feeling, the heart behind what you have to offer, they're not interested.
Yeah, and when we talk about authenticity, to me, I believe, and this is just my belief, the greatest gift anyone can give this world is to show up as who they are. And one of the things, and Aaron is so right with that, everybody's being authentic all the time because you're authentically acting out how you are in that moment. But we get caught up in our heads trying to be someone else. So we're authentically trying to be someone else. But when you come back and say, you know what, this is me, either you're going to like me, which is great, or you're not, which is great. Because I don't know about you, Caroline, but I spent a long time as a people pleaser, growing up thinking I had to please everybody. And man, is that tiring? Is that draining? And the moment I quit thinking I had to please everyone, because look, there's what, 8+ billion people on this planet. Are we going to please them all? No. But our mind tells us we have to. But the moment we authentically come back to saying, here's who I am in all my good, all my bad, all my ugly, all of it, here's who I am. The energy you've been wasting on trying to please people is going to come back to you, and you're going to have more energy to do more things. And the people that you're actually going to attract into your life that go, I want to know you because I see you. You're going to be blown away by the people that do come into your life. And then to answer Aaron's question about who's in sales, I love that he queued that up, because here's the answer. Everybody's in sales. We're always selling. Have you ever had a conversation with your partner and you want to convince them you want to go to this restaurant versus that restaurant? Have you ever had conversations with your children? Usually the children are the best salespeople out there because they know how to go for what they want. But yet people will go all the time, but I'm not in sales. Yeah, you are. You're selling all the time. So that strength of stories, when I lead an event as an example, like the one you're going to be doing, and I check the calendar, you are going to be in such amazing hands, Caroline. The gentleman who's leading that training is an amazing friend of both Aaron and I. He's out of the UK. You're absolutely going to love him. You're going to absolutely love him. He's phenomenal. And, when...
Is she with Mac?
Yes, she's with Mac.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
Caroline, you're going to love Mac.
Yeah. And so when I do the training that you're about to go through, because I still lead it, I'm going to be in Romania at the end of this month, and then Ireland the very next weekend, teaching the same program. And by the time I'm done, because of stories, people understand and feel like they know me more because they know about my pet pig, Gracie May. They know about the amazing fun that Aaron and I have traveling around the world, impacting lives, virtually impacting lives. They know that, hey, I am blessed that my wife and I have known each other since we were 13, started dating when we were 16, got married when we were 19, just celebrated our 35th anniversary a few months ago. So they feel that they know me because I fill my trainings with stories. I'm not just coming in to say, do this, do this, do this, do this. Both Aaron and I started as students of T. Harv Eker's. That's what changed our lives. That's why we love teaching his material as well as our own. Now that we're business partners, the way we've been impacting lives with the programs we create for ourselves, and we now create programs for others, we have a blast. But where did it start? Sitting in a seat. I was over $150,000 in debt, stressed out, freaked. I went through the training that you're about to go through. 3 days later, I walked out knowing why I was in debt, but more importantly, how to get out of debt. And more importantly than that, to take responsibility for my debt, because I was good at blaming others. And because of that life transforming training, 9 months later, my wife and I went from over $150,000 in personal debt to being retired, completely financially free at the age of 32. So,
Caroline, it's important to understand a couple things. Like Robert, I was sitting in that audience and had taken a mortgage out to attend the event, and then bought the Quantum Leap package with that mortgage. I had no money. After those events, taking action, getting one done, correcting and continuing. What worked? What didn't work? What can I do differently? Fix it, find a friend, do it together. Over the next 10 years, my wife and I built a $15 million business. And the property that the business on is what we're selling right now for $4 million. Through that time, I've owned real estate all over the United States. I went from being a homeless drug addict to being a multi-millionaire in 10 years, using the very basic principles that Robert and I teach all over the world together. Now, these stories in this modern world, why does it matter? Very simply this: authenticity means, what if it's not about being better? What if it's about giving up the struggle to be different from who you are? Authentically, I was a drug addict. Authentically, Robert and his wife were in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Authentically, there was something else inside of us. Authentically, we were afraid to make the change. Authentically, we changed. Authentically, we failed. Authentically, we tried again and got it right the second time. Yesterday, I felt one way authentically. Today, I feel a different way authentically. Authenticity is who you are being in this moment. Being successful is being authentic on purpose.
Oh, and we always have a choice. This is the Inspired Choice podcast, by the way. And I have two takeaways. There were so many nuggets in it. I have to re-listen to it again, of course. First, transparency, you said, is the greatest gift you can give to someone or your audience or whatever. I mean, yes, this is something I will take away. And then you said something, if so people, the personal development world is telling us that we are not authentic or we are not enough the way we are right now. But that's not true, because I see this separation creation, so to say. So when we think we are not authentic or we are not good enough, then there is this need or this gap to fill with all those programs that sell you something that you don't really want. Or
and I'd love to make one little adjustment to that though, Caroline.
Yeah, please.
I totally agree on the way some out there in the training era. Aaron and I are very transparent about the training industry, and you nailed it on the head about some trainings that are out there. That is, they try to make you feel less so that you then buy to make yourself feel better. But I will tell you, in June of 2001, or sorry, June of 2001, when I was sitting in the event, my very first personal development event, I didn't feel like I wasn't enough. I felt like, wow, there's so much more in me. And had I not made, and look, it wasn't me that made the decision. My wife dragged me to the back to sign up to do what Aaron referred to earlier, the Quantum Leap program. And I thank her every single day that she did because of that decision that she made. I was too terrified to make the decision, but she knew, even though we were in debt, she knew we had to do it. And we found a way to do it. I love how Aaron talks about that. You know, he took out a mortgage to be able to do it because it wasn't about feeling he wasn't enough. It was about feeling inspired that there was more greatness in us already. And because of my decision, well, my wife's decision in June of 2001, I look at the life I have today and I go, thank you, honey. Thank you for not letting me continue to play small and let fear rule me and hold myself back. Because as of today, I've now personally trained over 500,000 people around the world, the program you're about to do. And I've been able to personally do over $100 million in revenue helping people. Because the more, you know, and you think about the equation of wealth, if you want to make more money, help more people, you will be paid in direct proportion to the value you give. Left to myself, my value level was here because that's all I believed I could do. But inspired, my value of what I believed I could do came up here. And because of that, I am where I'm today. I would not have met Aaron had I not been on this journey. I would not have been able to go through some ups and downs with, you know, good and bad business partnerships. That when the two of us decide to be business partners after 15 years of working together, all of a sudden it's like our wives still they see us laughing while we're doing our daily meetings and that go, how are you guys having so much money or so much fun and making so much money? And we're like, well, this is the partnership we choose to have now. But it took going through all the other stuff to get to where we are today, if that makes sense.
Caroline, Robert and I love to teach a concept called consumer critic consciousness. And we all start as consumers. To your point, we go to these seminars and we see people up on stage, and then we start to get frustrated that these people are going to sell us more at the end. That's their job. That's why they run these seminars, is to upsell you into continuing to work with them. That's just their job. That's not a bad thing. Now, if you're a consumer, then you're going to go into these events thinking you need to buy or that you need everything that they have to sell. Here's what Robert and I say. Attend as many 5-day free challenges or low-cost challenges that you possibly can. I'm attending one right now. Robert and I have been teaching this work for 20 years. And not a month ago, Robert was attending a free 5-day seminar. I'm attending one that starts in 3 hours at 10 o'clock here. And I'm attending it. And it's going over basic business building stuff that I know and teach. But I love the trainer. Am I going to buy the product he sells yet? No, because I'm not a consumer. I'm a critic. See, consumerism is when we just buy to try to fill, as you said, Caroline, a need. Being a critic means we attend and we shop and we look at things and maybe we even fill our cart up, but we let it sit in the aisle before we purchase. We go home and we talk to our wives, we talk to our husbands, we talk to our friends and say, I really like this thing. Here's what I like, here's what I don't like, here's what I wish was different. And then we make a conscious decision to purchase. We should attend everybody should attend as many empowerment seminars, understanding that this industry is filled with very talented salespeople who are going to sell you something at these seminars. Now, knowing this, really start to understand consciously why you want to buy things, whether or not you actually have the budget to do it, and whether or not you want it, truly need it, or have to have it. Because that have to have it can come from a very unconscious place or a very conscious place. And consciousness critique makes a valuable consumer in this world. We're supposed to balance all three of those behaviors, not just say, oh, I'm only conscious. All baloney. Nobody's all fully conscious. Well, I'm only a critic. Yeah, nobody cares about what you hate. Well, I just love to consume. Well, that's not helping anybody. Be a balance of all three. Consume, be a critic, and be very conscious about what you are doing, how much money you're spending, and why you spend this money.
Wow, what a great answer. So I'm, yeah, not only inspired, not speechless, because we have a few questions left, and I can add to that, but it's only for me, it's about words as well. You said consumer. I heard the term don't follow the follower or something like that. It fits
I
also
like that.
Yep.
that, yeah,
I'm writing that one
because
down.
yeah, like yeah, you can you can re-listen to this episode. Okay, I have another question, of course. What's a practical step listeners can take today to achieve lasting success in both their personal and professional lives?
I was going to say, Aaron just answered that question really. It's about choosing to be the balance of the consumer, the conscious, the critic, all three of them. So, because again, and it goes back to what I had said earlier too, we get overwhelmed because we think we have to have all the answers. And one of the things I want you to notice, Caroline, and your listeners and viewers, throughout this training, when we talked about, what worked, what didn't work, what could be done different. Notice we didn't say what worked, what didn't work, what could be done better. It's never about what can be done better. And that's something that people get caught up in as a way of beating themselves up. I didn't do it good enough because boom, boom, boom. This didn't work because I wasn't good enough at it because boom, boom, boom. When you take the emotion out and you sit there and you say, okay, I did this action, whatever it is. Oh my goodness. Here's Caroline, 600 episodes ago. She did her first podcast. I'm going to guarantee you, Caroline, you probably found things to beat yourself up over, didn't you?
No, I just I
No.
had fun. No, really, because what you said in the beginning about we think we have to add more skills before we start. So this was me, so to say. So I went through all the studies, like economics first, then I had my accounting company, then I studied psychology at the age of 35. It took me 11 years, and then I went into the personal development world. I started 4 years ago with Bob Proctor. By the way, I'm a consultant for Bob Proctor's Thinking into Results. So I have this mindset, but I
Bob.
was too afraid to speak, like speaking, and my English. My excuse was always it's not my mother language, and I hated my accent. And now it's like I don't care what other people say. I want to have fun. I just want to have fun, just
Nice.
like you. I don't care. I put it out there. So of course I see myself, and like you said, this is very important about there's always a better way. This would have been my mantra until yesterday. You see,
Yeah.
I trained my language. So there's always a better way. And now you say this is the reason why people beat themselves up. This is so
Yeah.
true. So what can we do different?
Yeah. That
Right?
one little change, taking that
Mhm,
word from better to
mhm.
different. Yeah, that's the change right there. So when you look at something, and Aaron and I do this when we have debriefs with ourselves, with our teams individually, we're always asking those three questions. So what worked? And without emotion, we just go, this worked, this worked, this worked. We list it down. Okay, what did not work? And again, without emotion, we go, this didn't work, this didn't work. And it's not about blaming. Well, this didn't work because, no, it's this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. Great. So understanding both those two, now what can we do different? Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because that's from what did not work is where you get the greatest lessons. And so, especially if someone's overwhelmed, just take that first step, ask those three questions, and watch what can happen.
Now, it's that overwhelm that Robert and I also love to address because when we go through the list of what didn't work, we tend to get hard on ourselves. We tend to say, look at all those things that didn't work. Oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. Oh my gosh, it's not going to work. Oh my gosh, I got to go back to the drawing board. Here's what you need to do next. You can do something from that list. We suggest one thing, or you can set the whole list aside. But starting today, and this is very important, if you want to change your life, start to experience success, make things different, change one thing today. Now, here's the important lesson of this. It does not matter what you change. It does not matter. Caroline, I've been a student of psychology for a long time. I ran a therapeutic center for children. I still see people and do a lot of deep, deep crisis trauma coaching. And when I am working with someone in deep crisis, and when I say deep crisis, I mean they tried to commit suicide yesterday, and I'm working with them today. I work with people in deep crisis. Here's the key. Today, I want you to brush your teeth with your opposite hand. Today, I want you to drink one extra glass of water. Today, I want you to clean your desk. That's it. For the rest of the day, you can have the screwed up, messy life that you've been experiencing and getting nothing done, but you did one tiny little thing different. It doesn't matter how small, and everybody wants to argue with me now. It does not matter how small the change is. You do one tiny little thing differently, and then tomorrow you do something else differently. And then on Thursday, something else. I don't care how small it is. Oh, I vacuumed that part of the house. Great, you're done for the day. But here's what happens. 2 weeks into this, you start doing two things a day. Not because I told you to, but because your body starts to crave change. Your body starts to get comfortable with change. Those first days are what we call comfortable discomfort, where you're having to force yourself to drink an extra glass of water, or force yourself to remember to brush your teeth with your opposite hand, or force yourself to finally use a day timer. And Robert and I have created a day timer called 5, 4, 3, 2, done. Because that done, that is the most important lesson. You want to change your life, you start today with something seemingly irrelevant and so small that over the next 30 days, you will prepare your brain for the big changes. You want to know why change doesn't last? Is because you're trying to start with the finish line. And the starting line is actually just one tiny little step to get going. And then tomorrow, you just take one more little step and do one thing to have that one day be different than that one day prior. And 365 days later, you have changed by 365%. And you have changed your life. And it starts with the small things. This is scientifically proven with depression. This is scientifically proven with addiction. This is scientifically proven with anxiety, and is scientifically proven with business. Change one thing, tiny, irrelevant, every day. One coffee and one donut in a year's time never hurt anybody. But man, drinking coffee and a donut every single day of your life will change your health. One push-up never made anybody stronger, but one push-up a day, you watch what happens. You do one push-up, one a day, 2 weeks in, you will not be doing one push-up. You will be doing 5 to 10, I promise. And then a year later, you will see the results. That's how we change our lives. That's how we become multimillionaires. That's how you rebuild your marriage. That's how you raise your kids. That's how you do life. You want something different? Do something different.
I do something different every day. I meet beautiful people from all around the world. And you know what? This is the best episode I ever had. And even though I tell this everyone, no, I don't do this. This today, and I did not tell you, but I tell the audience now, it's my birthday, and having you on my podcast, I can't believe what a gift this is. And I understood for the first time the thing, change tiny habits, because we force ourselves to, we have to do this and hours along the whole day. And when you start, and I want to add to the word overwhelm, because I had a coach and she said to us, when we feel overwhelmed, then we have to celebrate, because this is the sign that we did something differently than before.
I like that.
Yeah, otherwise we would not feel overwhelmed, because it would be normal. Yeah. So thank you so much for our interview. I have one last question, maybe two. I can combine them, okay? So it is first.
You notice Aaron and I like to talk, so one question could be an hour long.
that's okay for you. I have time because it's my birthday. Normally, I wanted to have a free day, but you made it to my calendar. So no, it's okay because I believe in how is it called? Intuition or like what
Intuition.
sent to us is when it's flowing. Okay, two questions. The one is about where we can find you when people want to reach out to you after listening to this episode, and the second is because I can I can tell you it is about your goals and intentions. Do you set goals, and what is one of your next projects?
Wonderful.
Well, I'll start with the first one, Aaron, and I'll let you talk on the goals, and we'll just bookend this for sure. Because Aaron Huey and Robert Raymond Riopel, I'm known as R3. So our website is ahr3.com. So that's how simple it is to find us. So you just go to ahr3.com. That will tell you what our next projects are. As an example, depending on when you air this episode, next week from our happy birthday, by the way, from this day,
Happy birthday.
is that, next week we do a 5-day challenge where we're helping people not only create, but monetize their online events. Because with our 40 plus years combined experience, Aaron and I now love watching students outshine us. That's our goal. As he gave the example, one of our students, her very first online event, she's already got 600 registrants. She's figuring she'll have 800 by the time she does it. And using the techniques that we taught her just a month and a half ago when she came through our challenge. And we had her pre-prep call yesterday, and she's just exploding and excited and alive with it. And so people can find out all about all that information by going to ahr3.com and, following us, because we love to empower people. So that's how I'll answer those parts of the question. Aaron, I'll toss it over to you for the other part.
Goals are always very important to Robert and I. The clarity of goals, the repeating of the mantras that you create around your goals, creating an acronym about your goals so that you carry a word with you. You mentioned Bob Proctor, bless his heart, rest in peace. Right here, for example, just about Bob Proctor, in a little money jar where I just collect the change that I've earned from all over the world when I come back from a thing.
Oh, look at that.
In the back, I've got a little note that says, speaking of Bob Proctor, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis, because I listen to that mantra, because my goal is being happy and grateful that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Robert and I have a goal to truly celebrate our partnership and our wins by listening to the cha-chings of passive income every day. As a business, Robert and my goals is to have all of our students surpass us. What an unbelievable gift to live a life as teachers where all of your students become your mentors. Robert and I shared a student 8 years ago who is now our coach, because she and her partner have done so phenomenally in the world of sales that when it was time for Robert and I, because we are always learning, which is another one of our goals, when it was time for Robert and I to learn how to sell, we said, who's better than us? And one of the best in the world right now was one of our students. What a wonderful relationship to have, where we help them break through a moment in their lives where they have the life that they know they deserve, and now they're helping us do the same with their skills. So our business goal is that every one of our students does better than we did. Our business goal is that every time someone pays tuition for one of our events, especially this 5-day challenge, which is called Create and Monetize Your Virtual Event. It is a 5-day challenge. It costs $47. But let me tell you what happens with that money, because this is our business goal. First of all, the affiliates get 60% of that tuition. A wolf rescue in Colorado, USA, gets 30% of that tuition. That is not where Robert and I make our money. That's where Robert and I give back to the people who are helping each other and helping the world. If one of our affiliates sells a ticket to our program, We want them to get the lion's share of that money. And we want the wolves to get the rest. So we give half to the lions and half to the wolves. Our business goals personally is to continue to have fun changing lives together, to continue our financial freedom by making passive income in multiple sources, to continue inspiring people to work in this world, and to both find ourselves in a place where we can every day choose whether or not we want to work. Instead of having to work because we have a mortgage and we want to constantly be in a place of having options, because let us be clear, being a multi-millionaire, being a millionaire, having your retirement set only means one thing. You have options. And options in this world feel wonderful. They feel like freedom. They feel like power. Options in your life is what we're trying to help people create. We have been making money online for 20 years each. And in the last 4 years, we've come together and started making money online together. We have seen what other people do when they say, let me teach you how to make money online. And they do very well for a year. And then they vanish. Robert and I have worked with the best of the best in this industry. We still do. We are top trainers for the largest speaking and transformation company in the world. We have worked with everybody. We just got off tour with Robert Kiyosaki and Robert Allen and Ken Honda and some of the greatest minds in real estate and finance that this world has to offer. We were the one hosting the events. We get to learn from the best. We get to watch what they do and what works, what doesn't work, and what we would do differently if we taught.
And there's something that we love that we teach our students called the green room effect.
Yes.
Because we were the hosts, we also got to sit in the green room with all these amazing people. A lot of them we had known already for a lot of years, but some new friends like Ken Honda is an example. And you talk about Bob Proctor, an amazing Canadian like myself. And there's another gentleman who's
soon to
amazing
be
Canadian.
American. No.
Yeah. And another gentleman that going on goals, he says, write 10 goals a day. Aaron showed you our day timer. Every day in our day timer, we write 10 goals down every single day. And you cannot look back at the day before, because when you write your 10 goals down, the ones that are really important will stick with you and you'll rewrite them. But the ones that you're going, what did I write yesterday? No peeking, because this forces you to keep looking at your goals and refining your goals and taking a look. What's truly important to you? There's his 10 goals as an example that he just wrote down. And that's another fine Canadian that had that concept that we follow as a student amazingly. And one of the things, Aaron, you made me think of as well, and this is big for your audience, Caroline. When you are, and this is one of the things I want to put out to you again, congratulating you on 600 episodes on your birthday. One thing that I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but you will never truly know who you're impacting when you do work like this. And that's one of the beautiful things. You don't know who ends up listening to an episode of your podcast, and maybe it changes their life in a big way, maybe in a little way. And the beautiful part of that is you don't need to know. Now, one of the greatest feelings I get is when students come up to me and Aaron and say, hey, do you guys remember we saw you in Johannesburg, South Africa, or we saw you in London, or we saw you in Singapore, and you guys said this? Here's how it's changed my life. One of the greatest feelings in the world. And as you go out to impact lives, and I saw the kind of the shocked look on your face when Aaron made the statement that, we want our students to outshine us. See, we have no ego about this. We have ego. Everybody does. Let's be clear. But for us, we don't want to say, hey, we have to keep being the best, suppress everybody else. If we can have someone that outshines us, a rising tide lifts all boats. Aaron and I created a program for a gentleman who is from Brazil, and there's a Portuguese word, para cima. That means everybody up, because that's our goal. How do we raise everybody? Because you may just get shocked. Someday you might bump into someone that you admire, that you are like blown away by how they've impacted the world. And they look at you and they go, you don't know really who I am and how you, Caroline, changed my life. And because of you, I'm here today. And you'll have no idea. And an example of that is I don't know if you've ever heard of a company by name of Mind Valley, the founder, Vision Lakiani.
Yes.
I got to host an event in 2009 where he was one of the speakers, blew everybody away. I'm in the green room with him afterwards. I'm a gushing fan, like, oh my God, what you just did with the audience, you're amazing. And I'm just, and all of a sudden he looks at me and goes, Robert, stop. He says, you don't know who I am, do you? And I'm like, yeah, you're Vision Lakiani, Mind Valley. Oh, he goes, no, that's not what I mean. He says, you don't know that it's because of you, Robert, I'm here today. That program you're about to go through, Caroline, he was my student in 2008 in Malaysia, sitting in the room with 4,800 other people, losing $15,000 US a month in his business. He brought 10 of his staff members with him. That was May of 2008. By December of 2008, because what we had taught him, he totally turned his business around. They had their first $1 million month. And all of a sudden, he's now, Mind Valley is what it is today. In August, I was a host of an event where they wanted him as a keynote speaker. And because him and I are now friends, I reached out to him on WhatsApp and said, hey, I don't know if you're still doing speaking, but the Philippines would love to bring you. Here's, blah, blah, blah. And because I asked him, he went. See, that's the impact we don't even realize we're having on people by doing what we do. And so when Aaron and I say that we want our students to outshine us, because today he's doing $50 to $100 million a year online, and he's worth over $200 million personally. And I got to play a small part in that. Why wouldn't I celebrate that? But Robert, aren't you upset that he's doing way better than you? Hell no.
Wouldn't it make so much sense that if your student surpasses you, that you would hire them to teach you? Wouldn't that make sense? The only thing in the way of you being the teacher, and then them being your teacher, and then you be their teacher, and they be your teacher, and you continue to lift each other up. The only thing in the way of that is that ego that tells you that somehow them being better than you has made you a failure. And I don't know about you guys, but in my country, that seems to be the theme right now in the United States, that the only way you can win is if the other people lose. And that's not a real thing.
Nope.
What's real is that the first time I saw Robert on stage, I said, I can do that. And instead of trying to compete with him, year by year, for 15 years, we worked alongside. We inspired each other. I saw the effect he had on the audience. He saw the effect that I had on the audience. And then at one point we said, we got to do this together. Because then what kind of effect we can have? And then people said, you two are partners? Oh my gosh. And that's where our community has come from. That's where our following has come from. And now one of our students has beat us by 600% in their registrations. You know
That's
who we need to
exciting.
hire to teach us how to get registrations? Our student. That's a person we have a relationship with. We know them, we like them, we trust them. They know us, they like us, they trust us. This is how business is supposed to be. We teach a concept called red ocean, blue ocean. It's a little different than from the normal red ocean, blue ocean concept, but in business, the red ocean is created by destroying the ocean to make a profit. We'll fish it. We'll kill all the fish because people need food. We'll sell them fish, but we forget that there's an entire ecosystem that requires balance. The blue ocean is when, as business, we maintain that balance. Yes, we need trees to build houses, but nature also needs trees. So what if we find ourselves in balance with the nature of people and finance and spirituality? And what if mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial is something that we can keep in balance with ourselves and each other? And what if, as mentors, we can play, just like Robert said, that tiniest little piece in someone's success? What if one of our students cures cancer? What if one of our students saves the lives of women who have been abused and can't get out of the abusive relationship? What if? And this is what we want. This is why we teach what we teach at the cost that we charge, to support people in the way that we know we can support with them. Transparency, goal setting, get one done and change one thing right now. That's what we're inviting everybody, every listener to, ahr3.com. Just go to the website, read our ridiculous biographies on the front page that we have written as a complete joke. You'll find the real ones deeper. But our 5-day challenge event, here's the bottom line. Everybody has solved a problem. And that problem that you have solved is a problem that other people are still suffering from and can't find a solution. We want to show you how to find those people, to teach them your solution, to make some money. And as Robert said, the more you help, the more you make.
Yep.
The more you understand your market and how limited it is, the greater your impact is going to be. That's our 5-day challenge. Create and monetize a virtual event. You're going to solve people's problems. Do it for a profit. Everybody gets up. Everybody lifts. Show, teach, learn, do, teach.
Yeah, and that's the definition of business. Solving problems for people at a profit. Comes down to the absolute basics. And Aaron, sorry I cut you off there on the last part, but yeah, the learn, do, teach is the other thing, Caroline, that we live by. Because when you learn something, you get it in your neurons, your dendrites, in your mind at a certain level. When you do it, it deepens it. But the moment you teach it, it goes to a whole new level. So that's why we teach people. And that's why then you repeat. So it's learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach. Aaron mentioned in, 2 hours from now, he's going to be on another training as a student. An hour from now, I will be on another training as a student, because the two of us have committed our lives that we will never, ever, ever quit learning. Because the moment we do, we're going down. So we'll always be learners.
Yes, and I can add to that. So first of all, thank you very much. This is amazing. I heard this before. When you miss out one day, you start all over again.
Yes.
And now we can talk for hours about that statement, but we will not do it. Thank you so much I'm overwhelmed because I learned so much. I will check out your event. I encourage every one of the listeners to join with me. So I make a commitment now that I will be in your event next week. Wow, amazing, because I'm convinced now. Thank you so much. We have to do this again in 1 year or so, and then we can see where we are at. I'm blessed.
You ask and we will be there.
You bet. Done.
Oh my goodness. And I see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Inspired Choice today. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey of growth and transformation. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to stay connected and never miss an episode. And here's something special. Grab your free 20-minute breakthrough session with me. It's designed to help you kickstart or level up your business. Just check out the show notes for more. Until next time, keep making those inspired choices. See you in the next episode.